Hello, everybody. It's Sunday. Thank you all for joining. And it's been It's been a good week, and the volume's working, which is great. So let's talk about a lot of stuff today. And of course, I'll mention it twice, but in case I forget to mention it the second time, happy Father's Day to all the great crypto dads out there. So today we're going to talk about a lot of stuff. And again, as usual, the questions are voted on, etc. So we'll be talking about my new 2025 target for Bitcoin, because that was kind of a question. Why 2025 instead of 2024? And I'll explain that. We'll explain as well a whole bunch of option strategies. I'm so proud that many of you picked up a bunch of call options on different assets. We'll walk through some of those trades as well. We'll walk through exit strategies if you were in an option position. We'll talk about trading for a living. That seems to be a big hot theme right now, as well as some harsh reality too. We have to share that. We'll look into Rose token, Airgap wallet, NGrave wallet, NGrave resilience, and a whole bunch more. So let's jump in. And of course, this is always just edutainment. And all the questions come from the beautiful Patreon community. A big thank you to each and every one of you that's out there. It's getting really active these days. A lot of excitement in the air. In fact, also just as a warning, you guys know this, I've said it 1,000 times, but you can almost tell the bull market is coming back because the scammers are coming back too. So I will never reach out to you on Twitter, on Instagram, on Facebook, on Discord, in Telegram. I'm not even on any of these places. I don't have time to write you a note and say, hey, how you doing? By the way, I can make you a lot of money trading. Yeah, just send me your Bitcoin or whatever. I mean, they're still doing it. Just remember, we had a member that was reached out to by me, supposedly on Instagram. I don't have time. Plus, I'd never ask you for anything anyway. So with that, just be careful out there. Scammers are back. And a shout out to the crypto dads, everybody. Investing is one way you can start to build, of course, and secure your child's future, whether you're planning short or long term. And if you're watching this channel, you're in the right place. So we've got a lot of great crypto dads and, of course, crypto moms too. So big shout out to both of you as well. Happy weekend day. So first of all, first question is from Subconscious. For Bitcoin proxies, why would one prefer options expiring in 2024 rather than 2025? So I'm going to, because we're talking specifically about Bitcoin proxies, I'm going to talk about a bunch of different stuff. First of all, timing is everything in the markets. You never want to be too early, you never want to be too late, etc. But we have this thing called the halving run, which I talk a lot about, and this is the history. And we know we have one coming up in 2024, which is only 300 days away. April 14th, 2024 is my target date. It could be the 15th, it could be the 11th, but it'll be somewhere very close to there. So the question is, what happens? So I'm going to dig into Bitcoin action, Bitcoin history. And they say history doesn't repeat, but it rhymes. Let's test that theory, ladies and gentlemen. So first of all, we had the first halving in November 28th, 2012. Second one, July 9th, 2016. Third one, May 11th, 2020. And the pricings are there and the ROI is there. So first thing I want you to cast your eyes on is the history and the days, okay? The days from the actual halving date to the new all-time high. 500, 525, 544, etc. That's the first part that I want you to focus on. Second part is this. This is the diminishing returns angle. You've also heard me talk about this many times. 9,000% in the first halving, 3,000% in the second halving, 786% in the third halving. I reckon if this ratio holds and the diminishing return theory holds, we could have only a 2.27x. Now, that is disappointing to many that are hoping for $1 million Bitcoin in 300 days. Not going to happen. But the purpose of this exercise is to map out the timelines, okay? And also estimate the price. So the days to the new all-time high from the date of the halving, the very first cycle, 371, then 525, then 544. If I take an average of the most recent dates, we get about 523. So I do believe, this is key, I could be wrong, just based on data, that we might run from April 14th, 2024 all the way to September 2025. That'd be nice. Imagine 15, 16-month run. Woo! What happens if history repeats? This is a fun part. And again, I will temper this after this. I don't want to shill too much hopium with you all today. But here, again, repeating that, you got the September 19th, 2025 date, which could be the time of the new all-time high, which is a long way from today, ladies and gentlemen, more than 2 years. But that price, if we do a 2.27x times the previous all-time high, that could take us to $157,279. Theoretical target, of course. Now, there are some things that are different this time around. Very important to stress. One, there's a lot more adoption, okay? And there's not that much more supply. And the supply is going to be cramped. And if a big player, like we heard all last week about BlackRock, if they jump into the fray, that could make this 157 number look very bullish. But to balance things out, though, there is also the bear case. Now, what would happen if, I don't know, I'm not going to talk about that image, but we could, if things do get ugly on the macro, global, geopolitical front, I do believe worst case scenario, we get back to 69K, which is still very, very impressive from where we are today. So a little over two and a third years from now, could get back to 69K, and Bitcoin is trading just shy of 27K right now. Hard to believe. You could have bought it at 25K only 3 days ago. Madness how fast this thing goes. So that is kind of the situation there. So the point is, back to you to put things on a timeline. And I'm a very visual person, so I like timelines in my head. This will be scarred into my head. The juice for the next cycle will be made during this time. So we have 2022, 2023. We are here, the first blue little arrow, kind of middle of 2023. The post-halving run begins, okay, where the green arrow is, circa April 14th, 2024. And we will run all the way up to the red arrow if history repeats. And just think of the juice that can be made between that April 24 period and September 2025. Again, if history repeats, but something could throw a wrinkle into that plan if there is a nasty geopolitical event, black swan, etc. But the point is, I think this time, I also have another theory. This time I believe it'll be a little bit different. And by the way, it's so funny because I hear my thoughts and my words parroted. You'll see this in other places very soon, probably next week. But because there's so much more education out there right now, I do believe people will start buying Bitcoin because they are anticipating that April 2024 run. So the next 300 days could also be a lot of fun. And we're seeing that no matter what is thrown at Bitcoin, it's resilient. There's no positive sentiment out there in Bitcoin. There's a little bit of fear in the marketplace. The price is solid and it's up, 60% so far this year. So from that perspective, once the hype starts coming in, the volume, the scarcity on exchanges, it could be very special this time around. But we'll see. Worst case, 69K by September 2025. And if history repeats, we go straight up to this number here. What did I say, 157? 157! That would be exciting. Anyway, we're a lot smarter this time around than before. Thank you for the question, Subconscious. Next question is from Vine89. Is Solana the Tesla of alts? By this I mean, what are people not seeing about the technology that seems to be a blind spot in adoption since both Sol and Tesla contend with a lot of FUD? This is an interesting question from a number of different angles. First of all, nobody saw, all the analysts in Wall Street, etc. Nobody saw what Tesla was, the gas station thing, as I call it, superchargers, everybody foaming into, the Tesla standard right now, GM, Ford, etc. Now Volkswagen's thinking about it, Mercedes thinking about it, Toyota thinking about it. All the vendors are already flipping over to that standard. So there's a lot of stuff that people don't see. And then FSD is getting so good and so close. Now Wall Street's beginning to factor, what if, even with a very heavily discounted factor, what if Tesla nail FSD? And they're putting into their price prediction models, Tesla's at 106. It's like, it's not going to do much. Now it's at 260. and they're all jacking up their reviews. But it's just, again, timing is everything in the market. So back to your question, is Solana a Tesla because of blind spots? Yes, there are a lot of blind spots, but I do not believe it is Tesla. It's very, very different. Let me explain why. So this is the whole apples and oranges analogy. So first of all, this is a report by Citigroup. You've all seen my price predictions, but Citigroup only a few months ago estimated that SOL could be worth $1,000 per token by 2030 if it had 1 billion users. I shared in a video yesterday the exact amount of monthly active users and the growth rate of the monthly active users, which is mind-blowing. The only thing that beat it was Tron. Also, the report cited Solana's high transaction speed and low fees as a leading advantage over other layer ones that could drive adoption. And if Citigroup is right, this is a 67x from where we are today, which is mind-blowing. And 2030 is not that far away. Now, Tesla, I'm just talking prices, everybody's being to factor in all of the value that they generate and how, technically if they nail FSD and create robotaxis, the price could go to infinity because the productivity is just going to explode. But Tesla, obviously a Tesla bull, a Cathie Wood, a Tesla bull, and ARK Invest have also aired a scenario for targeting not only a $4 trillion market cap, but along with price expectations that the stock would reach $3,000 by 2025, according to Reuters and according to Cathie. Also, Future Fund, an Australian wealth fund, estimates Tesla's market cap could reach 4 trillion sooner than you think. So this is either a 12x or a 5x for Tesla between, 2025 versus 2030, depending on how you get there. Also extremely impressive. But again, it's different. Crypto is very, very different to what Tesla is. Let's look at my Tesla price predictions. A reminder, these are in the Retire on Tesla video. My low is 2681 by 2032, going at 10 years, and that's a 10x from where we are today. It's actually a little more than a 10x. So they are kind of different, but there are a lot of blind spots. And that's the amazing thing today, because now retail investors are smarter than Wall Street analysts. It hasn't quite trickled into crypto yet. People aren't looking at fundamentals properly yet, but they're getting better as time goes on. So let's jump forward to the next question. And I want to say a big congratulations to everybody. We have a ton of people in the community that bought a crap ton of Tesla options. And many other options too. Hey, Happy Feet. Hey, Aaron. Thank you all for being here. But this is crazy and it makes me very happy. So the returns have been amazing. So again, people are dabbling in options for the first time and seeing the crazy money that can be made. So first of all, this is the first question from Camo Craig on 5/09/2023. I think that's the 9th of May. I could be wrong. I always get my dates confused because I started in Europe and then moved to the US. I always get confused. But this is a call option. $250 strike going out to January 2025. With 1.5 years of runway left, what are some exit strategies to consider? I don't mind risk. So this is a big part of what I've always done. I buy leaps and then sell calls against the leaps. Sometimes I sell puts to buy leaps, and I call it the three-legged stool strategy, which has served me very well. So let's look at where I think you are. I don't know what price you paid, but the price I reckon for your contract was $26 a contract times 100. It's $2,600. It's now 81. So you've done a 3.1x already on your money. So congratulations. The question is, where is this option going to go? And how can you generate more money? So if you look at the zoom out chart of Tesla, this is basically what I do. Anytime you get a big spike in price, like the blue spikes and the red arrows, that's when you sell a call after a spike. Bang, 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 bang. 6 times you would have been able to sell a call and generate a very, very good returns. Again, you always sell them out of the money after a spike and you buy them back or let them expire cheap. Sell them with, between 12 weeks or so, sometimes 6 weeks, sometimes 12 weeks, and then just wash, rinse, repeat. That's kind of been my story for a big part of my life. So let's go forward to another related question, because a lot of people have Tesla options. Well done, everybody, again. Please help me understand when to exit a call option. I have the Tesla October 2023 $175 call, which I plan to sell when the trend flips. That's exactly what you do. But if it just keeps going up, how close to expiration would you sell? So this is from Artsy1. Again, love it. All these newcomers buying calls for the first time and killing it. So first of all, for those who don't have call options, what this does, it gives you the right to buy 100 shares per contract of Tesla at $175 per share. If you look at the cost right now, you're $85 in the money on this strike, but there's not that much time left. October is sort of 3-4 months away. So what you can do is you can sell it before expiration, and also you can sell it on a spike, which jacks the call premium because of volatility, which goes into the ingredients of how these things are priced. So wait for a spike to do that. Or you can sell an out-of-the-money call against your call if you have the options authority in your account to do that. So let's look at where we could be by October. And again, I do believe it's a bit of a big range, but we've seen how AI stocks can just explode. And I do believe Tesla is the leading AI stock. So your kind of 95 price of your call option today and where it could go and what it could be worth is as follows. So I see the Tesla range somewhere by October being $230 to $350. Yes, it's a big range, but it's also an interesting time. Typically, the markets can fall in September or August for a number of reasons. And I do believe that could be a buying opportunity or a dip, not necessarily driven by the trend, but by the macro. Now, if we do go all the way to 350, you can see your contract here be worth over $8,000. And of course, if it goes down to 230, I see that as the bottom end of the range. You will still be well in the money from where we are today. The price today, the zero, is kind of, if you sold today, what you would get versus the gain of holding. And I do believe the probability of us going higher from here by October is higher than us going lower. But we could dip to 230. And that's based on kind of layer out model numbers that I have. So how I play it, my strategy has always been you buy long-term call options to build a bag, and then you use that bag to do stuff. Let me explain. So I use long-term options, first of all, to speculate on price. I typically go in very hard when prices, I believe, are way out of the norm, and I do believe they'll mean revert. Then I convert them to equity for my growing bag. And then I use the equity as margin to sell puts on dips. And I use equity as margin to sell calls on spikes. Or I use the actual share itself. But I tend to love selling puts as much as possible. But if I'm doing a large number of contracts, I need a lot of margin. And that's what I use as my kind of my nest egg. And also, it's kind of a long-term hodl position that generates perpetual cash. That's my whole strategy. So that's what I would do. Don't look to getting out of an asset, as we discovered earlier, that could go very high as these numbers here. You know, the worst thing is regret. You know, I remember people with Amazon, you know, over 20 years ago, or Apple, or Netflix. They sold too early, and they ruled the day for years. And every year after, they see it going up and up, and I say, oh my God, imagine if I had my 1,000 shares, that would have cost me, you know, a couple of $1,000s. We're worth millions now. So that's the danger. Don't sell pristine assets. Milk them this way as much as you can. So that's the magic money secret today. So next question is another kind of trading question. A lot of people want to be or getting really good at trading. So please advise pair trading tips and tricks using IADSS and other indicators to grow your bag. So from S22, watch all my Patreon exclusive videos for that type of stuff. That's where I share all the tips and tricks. But just look at this real quick. This is IADSS on the Tesla MicroStrategy pair. You can see very clearly I drew in 2 red lines to show you where the green buy signals are. This is on the 4-hour chart. You buy at the bottom, you sell at the top. The pair here runs from the ratio of, I can hardly see, I can't see, I'm blind on this one, but it should be close to between, I don't know why I can't see that, either it's a percentage or something else. Anyway, but that's typically how I do it. That's the Tesla divided by MicroStrategy. Now, it's also very, very important. Another view of this is here. Typically, you can at the very bottom of the range, again, Tesla divided by MicroStrategy, you buy when you get a green buy flag, and you sell at the red sell flag at the tops and bottoms. And then you use the mean reversion, you use the trend to determine the exact timing of when you do that. You zoom in to the 15-minute or 5-minute chart, and then you execute. And at the top, you sell your Tesla from MicroStrategy. But the problem we have now, this is kind of interesting. It's not like you could do this for the last 5 years, but we're in a very transformational, exponential time, which makes it dangerous to do this. Let me explain. I call this jumping in front of a freight train. If Tesla nails FSD by year end, price could go to infinity. Okay. Elon Musk has said multiple times this year, they are real close and he believes they will nail it by year end. He also said that they're rolling out FSD globally right now. China, Korea, Denmark, all throughout Europe. You know, every roadway is different with signs and everything else. That's crazy confidence to be able to roll this technology out all over the world pretty much at the same time. But that's how confident they are. So it's insane. So remember, even though Bitcoin has a very bright future, which I covered today, we could go, you know, in 2.5 years to 150K, hypothetically, theoretically, based on previous history. Not a guarantee. Or we could go to 69K. But this is the problem. These are exponential times in AI. If they nail this, you don't want to be losing the Tesla bag. Therefore, I am hesitant to swap. Normally, I do swap between Bitcoin and Tesla, but I'm not doing it this time. Holding for now. So the next question is from Mario S., a crypto question. Could you give a quick recap of the compendium score for Rose, please? I sure can. And for those who don't know, Rose is the ticker for Oasis Network. It's a smart contract platform for open finance built using the Cosmos SDK. And they focus on, I think, a lot of privacy and user confidentiality and stuff like that. Now, let's look at the compendium score. It is 5.2. It's under our 6.5 threshold. So that means I would be a pass here on the tokenomics, etc. But there's more, okay? Considering it is a smart contract platform. Let's see where it ranks on our SCP profiler, which is even more important. This is based on 38 smart contract platforms in the top 500 cryptos. It ranks 35th. That is not good, ladies and gentlemen. And the problem we have is there's no data available. It's all hidden. I even went to the Oasis scanner yesterday and today to see if anybody's using the chain. No, it's a dead chain, no adoption, etc. So again, it doesn't score well. Would I buy? No. And if you're seeing things that are pumped a lot lately, which I've seen with this one too, it means that the big bag holders are recruiting armies to pump their token so they can offload on retail. This is why we build these tools. And these tools dictate price. No ifs, ands, or buts. So be careful if you hold Rose. Next question. And I always get into trouble for dinging tokens, but hey, it's data. So next question. I love this from Zazavier. Hope I said that right. I am turning 30, have a good income, but sick of the corporate world. Well, I could tell you stories. Could you suggest a plan of action for someone wanting to dedicate themselves to making it on their own trading and ready to pour extra time and effort into learning? So this is really a good question. And, you really do have to have a really good understanding of the market. You got to learn about different asset classes. You got to find what you like, market trends, trading strategies, tools, etc., forums, online courses, develop a trading plan. It is so much to do, but let me walk through what I believe are some of the top elements. First of all, you need to create a master plan. This is kind of a master plan. This is kind of like me back in the 90s. So you learn the market, you focus on a market. I don't care what it is, if it's FX or commodities or equities. I like disruptive stocks. I find them the easiest to trade. Get your tools and learn how to use them. Like any crafts person, you need really good tools in your tool belt. You don't buy cheap drills and cheap hammers and whatever. You develop a trading plan. And you start, first of all, testing your trading plan by paper trading. Then you start with small dollars and then see how good you are. And also, we spent a lot of time helping people understand their blind spots. Not everybody is geared to be a trader, but we have spent years analyzing all the greats, everybody in the Patreon community as well. And we create a profile to help you. And I'll add the playlist here so you can see it. That's probably the most important thing. Figure out where you are weak and find out how to shore up that weakness, because you already have the drive, and that's probably the most important ingredient. You just need to make sure you don't have any blind spots. And if you do, find a way to combat them. Then find your rhythm. Find what you like to do. Do you like to trade 4 times a year, or do you scalp hour to hour? It all depends on your personality and how much time you have. And then be patient and sharpen your tools every single day. Now, a bit of harsh reality, okay? There are a lot of people out there that think they can just rock in and casually become an expert trader. But remember, it's a blood sport. It's you against an expert. You got to be better than that expert. It's like jumping in the ring against a professional boxer or a professional MMA fighter. Unless you train harder than they do, and you got natural skills that are better than they have, and you know all your blind spots and you shore them up, you're going to get your butt handed to you. And that's a simple fact of life. Less than 10% make it. So let's go through this. This was, the 10% comes from a FINRA study back in 2019. That is, less than 10% of traders make a living from trading. Remember, it's not a one-day flash in the pan thing. It's not like buying call options at the beginning of this year and then making $1 million quickly on Tesla. No. That can be a curse, because that can give you too much confidence. So I believe the key success factors to you making this work, to trading for a living, is you need a trading strategy employed, okay? And you stick to it religiously. You need to understand market conditions and macro. You need to have your skills and experience. You need to practice risk management with options and tools like that, and have a lot of discipline. And you got to be in the top 10%. If you're not going to win. You're going to lose money. Then you have to go back and get a day job in the corporate world, which you hate. So remember, this is probably the most important factor, which I didn't mention here, I just remember now, is you have to love what you do. I don't need to do this, okay? And but I love doing it. I consider it like a sport, and I love helping people as best I can. That's why I love it. And I get up every single day, crack of dawn, and work every single day for you guys. So you gotta, if you don't love it, you're not gonna be successful as well. So that's another key success factor I forgot. So good luck. Let us know how it goes in the community. And we have as well thousands and thousands of mentors there as well that can help you and guide you, but find your rhythm. Next question, back to wallets from Gregism. Is the Airgap soft wallet, when used on a dedicated offline device, just as secure as any hardware wallet? Any cons? For those who may not be fluent in English, a con is a disadvantage. Let's dig into that. So first of all, what is it? It's Airgap.it. We did cover it, I think, a couple of weeks ago. I've covered so many wallets right now, I can't remember. But it is open source, iOS and Android software, which is good. And it turns your spare phone into an offline hard wallet. It supports a variety of cryptos, including Bitcoin, Ethereum, Cosmos, Polkadot, Trezor, Kusama, I think. And the software is free. But you do need to pay for a compatible iOS or Android phone that you can use as a dedicated device. And it's one of the easiest DIY options available. So from that perspective, it's real cool. How it works. So basically, the Airgap relies on a QR code transmission. Transactions are constructed and signed through the QR code communication between your offline mobile device that you use as your cold storage wallet and the online mobile device that acts as your hot wallet. This is known as a hot end and cold end. The cold end is the offline mobile device that you use to store your crypto. The hot end is your everyday mobile device that acts as a transaction app. You use the camera on the cold end to scan the QR code, obtain the transaction data, and then the transaction is confirmed on your offline device where you sign the transaction, and then it outputs the signed transaction data in the form of another QR code and completes the transaction on the hot end. It basically broadcasts it as you go forward. So that's basically how it works, but it's not for everyone. Let me explain why. It is a great DIY option, but the biggest disadvantage of Airgap is, for some people, it is precisely that. It is DIY. Although it's one of the easiest DIY options, it does require a certain level of technological competency. And if you screw up your build, you can create your own security vulnerabilities. And for example, you need to make sure 100% that the offline mobile device you're using is not compromised beforehand. Also, you need to make sure that you do not accidentally turn on the Wi-Fi network or connection to your offline device. This would defeat the purpose of having a cold storage wallet. And the surest way to prevent this is actually remove the Wi-Fi chip from your offline phone, which requires some technical skills to do so. Finally, remember this. You have to dedicate a mobile phone to the task of being an offline wallet and nothing else. That's it. Like dedicated machines for certain activities, etc. In order to limit the attack surface area, it's best not to have any other apps on the offline device except for Airgap.it. And for many people, it might just not be feasible, and you're better off buying another wallet. So remember all of those little tidbits. Next question is from Blue Rock. If Ledger can get access to our private keys and we move our crypto to a new wallet like Trezor, would Ledger still have a backdoor access to our crypto? This is the type of thinking I love. Thinking about all the different angles here. I love this. Is it not better just to create new keys in a Trezor and pay the fees for full peace of mind? From Blue Rock. So let's dig into this. Okay, the problem with the Ledger is the company, not the actual device itself. And Ledger does not have a backdoor to your seed. The problem that we do have with Ledger isn't the device. As far as we can tell, the device is still as secure as it was before the announcement of Ledger recovery business plan. The problem we have is with the company, their values, security practices, and all of this needs to be questioned after this decision to roll out Ledger recovery. We basically lost faith. The crypto community is right to come down hard on them. The issue is their Ledger recovery product is a bad system from a security best practice and from a privacy perspective. And it doesn't reflect well on Ledger that they would try to roll out something like this. Now, if they are able to make such a blunder, what other security blunders could they make in the future? And this is why we decided to ditch Ledger. Now, let's talk about transferring funds and what you can do. So with regard to the backdoor question, Ledger Recovery is a separate service that is an opt-in service. This means you basically have to opt in and sign up for Ledger Recovery to give them your seed. We hope this is the case. There's lots of mixed signals out there over the past month or so about, oh yeah, we've always had access versus, but I don't know. I'm giving them a little more confidence than maybe I should. But if you don't sign up for the service, you shouldn't have anything to worry about at the present time. And in the future, this might change, especially given Ledger's poor track record with security. But if you do move your seed off of Ledger, then wipe the device and you'll be fine. That is so important. I'll repeat that again. Wipe it. Factory reset it after you migrate off of Ledger. The worst thing you can do is mess up and lose access to all of your coins. That's why you should take your time. Don't panic. Don't rush. Test with a small amount. Your crypto isn't going anywhere. Your seed is not compromised. And this will give you peace of mind. So remember, here are the steps. I'm going to repeat it again because this is so important. Get a new hardware wallet and create a new seed. Second, send your crypto from your Ledger to your Trezor. Test with a small amount first. After all your crypto has been sent, manufacture reset your Ledger to make sure they got nothing. So that's it. Next question is from Iron Dog. You guys so paranoid about security. It's wonderful. Could you provide analysis on the NGrave wallet and compare to Trezor, f.ex, and other prominent players in the space? So NGrave have a couple of different options. The first one we'll talk about is the graphene. And NGrave is a wallet maker. They were first known for their metal-plated backup that you use to secure your seed phrases. And these things are designed to be extremely resilient. They say they can withstand extreme temperatures, water, corrosion, shocks, bends, etc. And we do like the fact that it's a great way to keep a backup of your seed and not have to worry about it being destroyed by water, fire, etc., or a rotting piece of paper. And I don't think it can withstand being deformed by fire damage, though, but nothing really can. It depends on the temperature it reaches, like how many 1,000 degrees, etc. But overall, it's a great way to back up your seed. And we really like this solution better than Crypto Steel's capsule as well. In addition, they have another one called NGrave Zero. This is the coldest crypto wallet, they say. It's one of the newer entrants into the cold storage market with its NGrave Zero cold storage device. It works like Keystone and Airgap. We covered those before. It's another QR transmission wallet. Oh, by the way, we get a lot of questions. We chop up the best segments of things like the weekly Q&A, etc., into a clips channel. Yes, that is a legitimate channel. We just don't talk about it much. But you can check out all our little clips across all the different wallets by subscribing to that clips channel. We'll add the link here afterwards. But it is us, trust me. But here, when we look at the way transactions are constructed and signed, again through a QR code, like we just covered earlier, between your NGrave and your mobile device with the NGrave app. This is the hot end and the cold end design we just talked about with Airgap. Now, the biggest thing we like about NGrave, it's one of the few hardware wallets that supports Solana. However, it's a relatively new project. And the biggest red flag is it's not open source code, which you know how we feel about that. We believe it's better for all wallets to be open source, else we don't know exactly what's going on behind the scenes. So thank you for all those great questions. I drink some tea on that right now. And my favorite part of the show is where you and us, and we help out there. So today we're helping the Whale Museum to help support stewardship of endangered southern resident orcas. And we adopted Racer, the orca. And in addition, we donated to DLGR, which is Deutsche Lebensrettungsgesellschaft, and they fly drones with infrared over fields before things like grass is cut or land is farmed, etc., to save baby fawns and other wildlife that needs help. They actually had a terrible accident where drones crashed into each other, so they need to repair these drones, and they're very sophisticated, expensive drones, so hopefully we can get them back up in the air as quickly as possible. So remember, if you want to amplify your intelligence, please subscribe to the channel each day, and you'll be armed to face the AI onslaught that's coming. So with that, since I started, Bitcoin's gone up $40. Woohoo! Great for us. And let's take some questions. Zeno, you're too kind. I hope you guys enjoyed the show today, but let's jump into the questions. Big thank you to the mods in the chat that help keep everything on the track and keep us all secure and safe. So Brandon L., happy Father's Day. Thank you. And to all the great crypto fathers and mothers out there. Thanks for teaching those of us who didn't get investment lessons during our childhood. Awesome. I hope it all helps. Iron, what is the best way to increase any bag if it's in the green and buying under your cost basis that is no longer possible because the train left the station? This is a great question and always a challenge for people is, so what I do is I get assets, and if I have a very low cost base, I think, I can't remember what it was exactly, $17 or $19 or something even less than that is my cost basis for Tesla because multiple splits and getting in early and getting in hard. But when it fell down to the low 100s this year, that was, I basically doubled my bag. So I make my buys at very opportune times. And I just got everything I possibly could and threw at it because I knew it was an insanely low price. So if you see something like Bitcoin going down to 17,000 or 15,500, I do the same thing. I just look behind the sofa, pull up any coins I can find and throw them into it. The problem is when trains leave the station, you had a chance a few months ago of buying 106 and you got some, and then you worry about that. I just wait for the opportune times to load up, wait for those dips. And the best way as well to increase your bag size is, again, on spikes. When the trend reverses, sell a call against your position and cash that in. But make sure you're selling time, 6 weeks, 12 weeks out. That's it. And don't get caught. And be brave enough to roll up if it does start running again. So if you, for example, now you sell the 265 calls on Tesla, and Tesla shoots up to 280, 290, 300, roll up because you don't want to lose your position. Because remember the big picture. And that's why I do long dated price predictions. In fact, when I started predicting price of Tesla, way back when, there was no such thing as FSD or Megapacks or any of that stuff, or Cybertrucks. It was all out there, or 4680 battery cells. So again, things change, but try hold on to your bags. That's when you have a disruptive asset, keep it. Happy feet. How long will it be before the SEC gives BlackRock an ETF? Great question. So the typical approval time is 240 days. I've analyzed all traditional ETFs, but over the last couple of years, I can't remember the exact number. I think BlackRock applied for something like 575 ETFs. They got approved for 574. Only one was rejected. And these are the craziest ETFs you've ever seen. So typically 240 days. And then I'm thinking about the 240 days from and I love this question, by the way, smart question. I add 240 days to where we are today. That's right before the halving happens. That would take us to January timeframe, because we're 300 days in the halving. So that'd be sometime in Feb. But because BlackRock is so powerful, because BlackRock has the ear of not only the Fed, the Treasury, and the SEC, I think they could probably go a lot faster. And, the key part that they had in their filing was the surveillance that's going to be done by NASDAQ to prove that they're not manipulating the markets, which supposedly was the SEC's concern for not approving them in the first place. So I think it's all positive. And but a lot of people have said, we heard about a Bitcoin ETF for 6 years now and it never gets approved. This time could be different. Famous last words. So thank you for that great question. Chaotic Coder. Would the Tesla MicroStrategy pair change if Tesla started to hold more and more Bitcoin? No, the problem is the market cap is so large for Tesla. Last time I checked, it's $860 billion. They do hold 10% of their original buy, which is, I think they have about, they bought at 30K, they bought 1.5 billion. They have about 150 million left, but 150 million divided by 860 billion is a nothing burger. So they would never be able to buy enough to make a difference to be a true proxy, like the way we arb MicroStrategy and Bitcoin between each other. It's simply too small. It's like if you have a miner that only has 10% of the market cap or 20% of the market cap in Bitcoin, it doesn't really matter. But when it gets to 50%, yes, it does, like HUD-8. So you watch that. So Chaotic Coder, hope that helps. 6721, would you swap ETH for Tesla for a 4 to 5 year term? So ETH is special because it has a dominant position and it's deflationary and it's the key to enterprise, like large scale enterprise layer 1 blockchains. Plus all the layer 2s actually bring value to the chain to shore up a lot of its gaps. Would I swap ETH for Tesla? No, because I actually do believe, and I made a detailed video of that I'll add here, of which will run more over the next 3 years, Bitcoin or Ethereum. And my money is on Ethereum because it's deflationary and it's widely adopted. And if you take all my valuation models like Metcalfe's, etc., it should do better as we go forward. Remember, we are so early in crypto adoption. More users are coming in by the day. And once we start getting to hundreds of millions of users, things will just go gangbusters. So, no. Now, if Tesla was at 106 again and I didn't have Bitcoin to swap into it, I probably would, yes. But not at this price. It's different. You gotta look at where you think it's going to go and how many X's return you get and what the risk is. That's all I do, is try to balance that risk and reward. Amy, too late to jump into Tesla? Did I miss the train already? Look at all the Tesla questions, all the crypto people loving Tesla. I'm looking to hold for at least a year. So it depends on the returns. I always say I don't get out of bed unless I can get a kind of a 3x return or whatever. That's kind of what I'm looking for on options. The price right now is 260. I think it could hit 350 to 400 in a year easily. So that's your upside. There is still a lot of upside. There's nothing but tailwinds coming. FSD, Cybertruck, Megapack, 4680s, expansions, new Gigafactories, Model 2s. I mean, it's insane. It is still the equity of the decade, in my opinion. So I don't know where the 1 year time frame comes from, but as I said before, Tesla's a keeper. So try hold on to it. Don't, because you will regret it 8 years from now if you say, oh, I bought at 260 and I sold it at 350. I made $90. Oh, and now it's at 2,500. That's the regret that I just want you all to be careful of as well. So let me see. Matt Vogue 100. Did you snipe render today? I did. I won't say today, but I do post all of my trades in Patreon. And we have seats open if you want to come in, patreon.com/invest answers. And I did snipe render, but not today. And it was picture perfect. I also did snipe Bitcoin at $25,021 during the week as well. Everything is posted in real time. So big thank you to your super stickers as well. Kiwi Robin, love you, man. Vicious Lee, Glenn Johnson, Sigma 103, Pancake Panda, Dog One, Andy, KN, you rock. Powerful women of crypto, Zeno V, Sigdiv, MT, and I thank you all, everybody. Tomorrow, DCA will be on CTO Larson's channel. Usual time is 7:30 a.m. Pacific. I think it's 4:30 Swedish time. I think that's the same as German time. I'm not sure because the summers change. But thank you all for being here. Happy Father's Day. Thank you for spending the time with us. Love you all, and I'll see you all tomorrow morning early. Bye.